I should have actually set this up earlier. That was silly of me. Widget. So quiet, so great. Okay. And mine has disappeared. Here we go. Wonderful. Greetings, New Zealand. We're live from, I'm live from Auckland, New Zealand. And everyone, we've got a whole group of educators here from around New Zealand who they're going to introduce themselves shortly. TeachMeetNZ are delighted to welcome to Connected Educator Month. And basically what happens is we reflect, what TeachMeet does is reflect what's going on around New Zealand. You can join us in the question and answer section and ask any questions from our presenters today. You can like us on Facebook, you can follow us on Twitter, and you can even follow us on Google+. We would appreciate, my name is Sonya Van Schaijik. I'm a teacher at Newmarket School. The best way to watch us is on Chrome or on Firefox. Get comfortable, sit back and enjoy the session. And we use the hashtag TeachMeetNZ. We've got two special things happening today. We've got Richard, who's going to be joining us as a live blogger, and we've got Mary, who's going to be tweeting out and broadcasting for us. So welcome everyone, and without further ado, I'm going to pass you first of all to Karen, who's our timekeeper. She's just going to introduce herself briefly, and everyone on the Hangout will introduce themselves before we get started. Karen, passing across to you.
Kia ora, te lopalawa. Thank you so much, Sonia. That's wonderful. Ngā mihi nui ki a koutou. No kara Melhuish toku ingoa. It's wonderful to be here today. I've got my trusty wee little timer here. So no pressure, everyone, but we'll be keeping to strict time. So wonderful to be here for Connected Educator Month. Thanks very much, Sonia.
Thanks, Karen. And Richard, tell us what you're doing today.
Yeah, hi, I'm Richard Wells. Very privileged to be here. I'm less nervous than everyone else because I'm not presenting. I'll just be blogging at iPadforschools.org. I've already tweeted out on the Twitter hashtag TeachMeetNZ. So if you find that link, I'll be blogging at what everyone says and what everyone's talking about today on my blog. Glad to be here. Thanks.
Thanks, Richard. And Mary, you're joining us today as well. Can you explain what you'll be doing today?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I am just tweeting and telling the story of all of these wonderful educators. Hope we have fun.
Thanks, Mary. I appreciate you joining us. Okay, so let's just start with you. Bridget, you're on the left of my screen, so can you just talk about yourself?
Hi everybody, I'm Bridget Casse. I'm one of the assistant principals at Edendale Primary School, large Auckland school, and I teach a wonderful class of 5-year-olds.
Thanks, Bridget. Kassey, your turn. You're up next.
Hi, I am Kassey Downard, and I teach at Macquarie Intermediate in Rotorua, and I teach beautiful Year 8 students who are very much into Minecraft, which is what I'll be talking about today.
Thanks, Kassey. Lois.
Kia ora, New Zealand. My name is Lois Bostock. I am a Media Studies teacher at Diocesan School for Girls based here in Auckland.
Thank you, Lois. Rubina.
Hi, I'm Rubina Irshad, and I teach at Newmarket Primary School with Sonia, and I teach 5- and 6-year-olds.
Thank you, Rubina. Sam.
Hi everybody, I'm Sam Hocking. I'm the Deputy Principal at Twyford School in Hawke's Bay. Happy to be here today, and I'll be talking about SOL, self-organised learning environments.
Thanks, Sam. Tim.
Hi everyone, my name's Tim Kong. I'm a teacher at Seatoon School in Wellington, and I and yeah, teach Year 7 and 8. I'm also seconded 2 days a week to the Network for Learning.
Thanks, Tim. Just see what's happened with Karen, so I'll just call her back again. I'll just quickly share with you my screen and show you what's going to be happening today. Right, as you can see, we've got a fabulous group here with us today. We've got Sam and Bridget and Rabina and Tim and Lewis and Cassie who are sharing what they've been doing in their classroom and in their school, and we look forward to hearing their stories. And our special guests today, we've got Mary and Richard and Karen who are supporting us here. I'm just going to switch off, and Sam, you're up first. Everyone, if I could ask you to turn off your cameras, please.
How do I do that?
At the top, Mary, wiggle your mouse and right at the top.
Got it.
Yep, cool, thanks. Great, Sam, I can see it. Yep, it's up. When you're ready, Sam, I'll drop away.
Okay. Right. I think I'm ready to go now.
Right, off you go, Sam. Karen, I hope you've got time going.
I do. Right, so as I said earlier, I'm Sam Hocking. I'll be talking today about SOL, Self-Organised Learning Environments. I use SOL with my students and have found it a really great way to engage them. Anyone can do a SOL, and it is basically the use of rich questioning in the classroom and student collaboration to find an answer to the questions. It's the brainchild of Sugata Mitra. He trialled it extensively in India, and now he is starting it worldwide in terms of what he's doing. The key to SOL is to use the resources at hand, one of which is the School in the Cloud website, where you can connect with other teachers, you can run your own SOL in your classroom easily, and every aspect can be run through that website. All you need in the school is a good broadband connection, collaboration amongst your students, and a device that can be shared with those students. It's important that they share rather than have their own, and that they collaborate and work together. The key element to SOL is a rich question where the students cannot easily find the answer, and that they need to work together to use the internet discerningly to find the answer to their questions. As far as implementation goes, all you need is a place for the students to work. It's about their curiosity, it's about them working together to solve problems. It's not meant to look pretty, it's meant to be an effective pedagogy tool. It has huge impact with students. They find it highly engaging and highly motivating. They have to read and find information and work closely together in order to create their answer to what they think the question is asking them to find out. From a teaching standpoint, you need to learn to stand back. You need to let the students solve the problems and have the problems, and then find a solution to those problems. All you have to do to find out how effective it is talk to your students, and they will very quickly tell you how powerful they find it and how it engages student agency and learner thinking and how they're able to use it. I've included some links on the end here for you to be able to find your way to the School in the Cloud website, to find further reading, and also to access some of the support materials that are created for teachers to be able to start their own SOL in the classroom. Okay. Thank you very much for listening to my discussion about SOL today. I'll just share back to the main screen.
Thank you, Sam. That was nicely done. How did he go, Karen?
All good. He was under 3 minutes, no problem.
Well done, Sam, because I know it was a big task that you had this week to bring it down. Well done. Can we have everyone with their mics back on, please, and just give some feedback or a few questions if you've got questions for Sam. Sam, I'm like you. I've been watching the work of Sugata Mitra, and I like what you've been doing with the exploration of soul. So thank you for sharing your story with us.
Not a problem.
Sam, I think one of the things, that particularly around rich questions, we've been doing the ALM program at our school, and that's all about rich questions and enriched math exercises, and there's some nice sort of synergies is far too fancy a word, but there's some nice overlap there in what the soul environment does and what it allows other people to think about as well. So cheers, thank you.
Not a problem.
I love seeing the examples of the students in their environment and using it and making it work for them. Thanks for sharing.
Not a problem.
All right. Anyone else? Thanks, Sam. And we go to our next person. We've got Bridget Casse. Bridget, you're up next.
Yes. Okay. Right. So bear with me. I will go to my screen share. And
yep,
you see
come up.
that?
Yes,
Brilliant.
we can.
Excellent. Is that working?
Isn't it the cog? Is it the cog that you're supposed to make bigger? Oh no, that one in the beside it. Yeah. That's it. Now it's live. You're up on stage. That's fabulous.
Great.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
I'm dropping away.
Okay, kia ora everybody. I'm Bridget. I'm the assistant principal at Edendale Primary School. We're a large Auckland school, and we proudly represent a wonderfully diverse community. And we use solo taxonomy throughout the school to improve learning outcomes for our learners. So solo taxonomy, it's a model of learning. It's a structure of observed learning outcomes developed by Biggs and Collis in 1982. And the classroom-based practice using solo was introduced in New Zealand by Pam Hook and Julie Mills. Now, I love solo. It is so brilliantly simple. It labels learning steps against a learning goal. It doesn't label the learner, and it works. Using solo makes next steps visible so learners know how to meet their goals. Any goal can be deconstructed into manageable steps. So what about that language, that pre-unistructural, multistructural? Isn't it too hard? I've heard this, and I think, why not let our kids decide? Use our hand signals, symbols, and explore the important learning vocabulary together. Just because we think something might be complex, does that mean that we don't expose our learners to it? I've found once they discover correct learning vocabulary like clarifying, analysing, evaluating, that they actually prefer to use it to describe their learning. They actually like the sound of it. Multiple exposure helps. You just have to take that next step together. You already know your learners. You know their learning goals. You find out their prior knowledge. Then you can use solo to help bridge the gap between that very next step and the intended outcome. When you have a context, try using the HookEd rubric generator, the HookEd visual rubrics, or you can try creating your own. It's really quite simple. When we use solo, our learners begin to understand how they're learning, and we can be powerful models of that. I identify as a learner and make my learning visible to them. Try learning to use solo together. It's not knowing becomes, it's not failing, it just becomes pre-structural, and it's an opportunity to learn. And what an important lesson to learn at 5 years old. We don't sprint before we can take a first step, and we need to know that this is okay. With constant reference to how and why we're learning, using solo, conversations just become normal, and the learning is visible. What do you want to learn? How can you make it happen? Did you meet your goal? What was your feedback from your friend, and what might you do next? What does it make you wonder? The steps become between not knowing and application, innovation and creativity. They're manageable and attainable, and it's motivating. Learners know what to do, so taking a risk is less scary. We can use it across all sectors in any context at all because it's relevant to all learning, and all learning requires effort. Building conceptual understanding requires even more effort. Learning to learn is a sustainable skill, and you can, once you know how to learn, you can learn anything. So where is your learning outcome when it comes to using solo? Have you heard about it, tried using it, exploring how to use it? Have you noticed how powerful it is? Are you listening to it and using those extended abstract wonderings from your learners to inform planning and curriculum development? Are you using it to plan your own goals? I am. So wherever you are at, I encourage you to connect, notice, and learn from the journeys of others who have travelled, and remember to share snapshots from your own learning journey. Okay, thank you.
Oh, people, turn your mics back on. Thanks, Bridget, that was great. Being a solo educator myself, and this is where the outcome has been TeachMeetNZ for me, because I realised when I was using solo that my thinking was multi-structural with e-learning. So the product for me has been TeachMeetNZ. Thank you for sharing your story. Anyone else got some feedback or questions for Bridget? Robina, you're a solo teacher. You got anything there? I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yes, I agree with you, Bridget. I've enjoyed using solo in my classroom as well, and I must say that with my 5- and 6-year-olds, they are all excited about the terminology. However, they are also excited to be able to see what their learning outcomes are against rubrics. So well done. I'm so excited alongside you as well. Great presentation.
Oh, thank you very much. I think one of my learners once said it really well and said, as you grow, you forget stuff, but you might not forget the solo things. So when you're older and someone asks you a question, you know how to get the answers. I think that's really powerful.
Yes.
And as you've said, Bridget, a point I think about you when I think about it is when I first started using solo, I had to use solo. Now I have to use solo. I really agree with that statement. Okay, thanks, Bridget. Coming up next, we have Robina. You're up next. So remember to turn your camera on, Robina, before you start.
Yeah,
that's it.
Screen share.
Yep. And now share your screen. Little green button. That's it. And then drop the screen down. Yes, and then drop your screen down. Remember? That's it. Well done. Okay, when you're ready, I'll drop away when you're ready.
Can you see it?
It's just loading. We can now. Thanks, Robina.
Great. Okay, hi, I am Robina. I teach with Sonya at Newmarket School. I'm the junior school team leader. I'm the Mutakarua coordinator. This year at Newmarket School we introduced Mutakarua. Sylvia Park School first came up with the initiative Mutakarua. Mutakarua is a learning partnership between the home and school. It is working alongside our whānau, supporting, empowering and engaging them in their child's learning. It is taking the learning that's happening at school into the homes of our whānau. The class teacher administers a detailed observation survey both in literacy and numeracy. These assessments are then shared with me, the Mutakarua coordinator. Part of my role is then to invite the parents and have a learning conversation based around their child's learning. At this meeting, we share learning successes and set new goals. 10 weeks later, we meet for a review meeting. We review the goals, and if they are met, we set new goals. If not, we look at the other ways to best support the goal. We provide resources to support that specific learning goal. The two targets that are usually set together with parents are very specific. One target is for literacy and the other is for numeracy. Here is an example of learning goals being set. Resources are provided to support these targets, and we demonstrate how these can be used at home. Part of the funding is used for this purpose. Our VLN closed site has some templates for us to share. The biggest challenges that I face as a coordinator is that the data collected and shared with parents is done within 2 weeks of testing and ensuring that enough resources are ready to support the goals. The impact of the project on my teaching includes building strong relationships with our parents. In addition, being responsive to the culture and background of our whānau. Some of what I learned was parents are reliant on the teachers to teach and being unsure of how to support their child and to what extent in literacy and numeracy. I have built a closer relationship with our teachers by working collaboratively. Mutakaroa surely has made a huge impact on our learning outcomes. We have had some children making a year's progress in 6 months in terms of learning. All children to date have made some accelerated progress in their learning. Where the most progress is seen is where the parents have set specific targets and have been involved in their child's learning. To conclude, my practice is refined and becoming more focused, specific to meeting the child's learning needs. At Newmarket School, whakatauki is a part of our learning. I finish with, whaia te iti kahurangi, reach for the stars. We are together in this journey. Here are some links if you want to know more about Mutakaroa. Thank you.
Well done, Ravina. I know this has been a big step for you, stepping out of your comfort zone. So well done for taking this on. For me, I'm excited because it's the first time I've had somebody from Newmarket School present with me. So it's a first for me. And also today, Ravina's blog went live yesterday. So if you want to read more about her learning, I've just popped the link there for you. Anyone else, if you want to turn on your mics and come back and join us? Karen, how did she go for time?
Oh, she was pretty much just within it. The timer went off just as she was finished. Can I just say thank you, Ravina? It's wonderful to have heard that story. I have a colleague in Wellington working in the same program, the Mutakaroa program, and I was going to ask you, is it something that schools not in the program could replicate? I mean, we know about the relationships being so vital with whānau and community for learners. Is this something that other schools could replicate without being part of the program, do you think?
Ravina? If you need to unshare your screen. That's it, and then bring your camera up. At the top. Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, we've lost your sound. You've turned your mic off.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I think they could, but I think it's quite powerful working as a group, and then, like, for me as a coordinator, mixing with other coordinators and talking about our journey together has been quite powerful.
Mm.
Cool. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, we're starting to get some questions through on the Q&A, people. So I'll be watching for that. And Tim, you're up next.
Okie doke. Let me bring up my screen share. Sorry, I need to bring the right window up. Apologies. And one more time. Here we go.
Tim, I still can't see you, but I see on the broadcast. That's how I'm keeping track, so I can see you from there. So it is working.
Okay, so it is there.
So it is there.
Cool.
Right, so when you're ready, let's go for it.
Yep. Okay. Hi. My name's Tim Kong, and I'm a Year 7/8 teacher at CENZ School in Wellington. And I'm also, as I said, seconded to Network for Learning as an IT advisor. I want to start with Finland. This is part of my big thinking. It's a model for educational excellence, which I'm sure we all know about. But I want to have it overlaid with this meme, as you can see in the image, of future-focused education, because that's pretty popular. As you can see by the image, sometimes our memes get a bit mixed up, and I think our messages do as well. Herein is the evidence for Finland being the best in education. Statistically, there's quite a lot wrong with this graph, but most of us can list the reasons. Small classrooms, little homework, no standardized testing, longer playtimes, and teachers are respected and valued. But here's the one that's not often mentioned, that all teachers have a master's degree. And that degree doesn't mean one will have a success as a teacher, but I'd like to think that a degree like that gives you a grounding in a useful range of critical thinking skills and an ability to implement those thoughts into practice. And I believe we need these skills in our teachers, because here's another aspect of the Finnish experience that's not as well promoted. That they may use innovative teaching methods, but they don't always include high technology. At the end of grade 8, Finnish students use of computers is the lowest in the EU, with 27% saying they use computers at least once a week. That's a little bit different from New Zealand, where our schools are rocketing in the future with open modern learning environments, team teaching, open plan hubs, and of course more technology. Because here's Hadlow School in the 1970s, and the classrooms still have desks, and it still has windows, and it still has students looking up at a teacher. And I'm left wondering sometimes if the actual learning, where students are making sense of things that we measure in our curriculum, are actually all that different between the future and then. Because of course it's all meant to be about learning, right? And about meeting learning needs. But in an ERA report in June of this year, out of 193 schools surveyed, 96 had identified students that were not achieving, but just kept doing the same thing. This in a profession that's constantly calling itself evidence-based and future-focused. Instead, we're more likely to want what this company or Google or Microsoft offers. Like all good consumers, we want the shiny. And we'll insist that it's just a tool, but we'll naturally want the latest and the greatest. Which is actually the point. It's not that we can't teach this critical thinking, but that we don't actively do it, I don't think, as teachers. We can recite the facts about Finland that match our mental models, but we often miss the important concepts that underpin that model. So I'll just finish with this slide and ask you to watch the video in your own time and follow the links throughout my presentation and read the text of This is Water, and to really start to think for yourselves and to live Wallace's words, that this is the freedom of a real education, of learning how to be well adjusted. You get to consciously decide what has meaning and what doesn't, and you get to decide what to worship. And the links there are some of just a range of things that have informed my thinking and challenged me in a lot of ways each day. So thank you.
Tim, thank you again. You have pushed my thinking. As I mentioned to you, I was in Finland last year, and what you said just hones what I saw as well. The classes are not like what we have here, and I don't know what I was expecting, but yeah, it just, what you said today just resonated with me from my experience there. Has anyone got something they'd like to share with Tim as well?
I just really appreciate the way you I put on Twitter, you dig deeper and you ask those those challenging questions. So appreciate that. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Bridget.
I'd like to echo what Tim has said, and I've just been I actually read your blog post this morning over the cornflakes while so it's great to have heard you to speak to it as well. I've just been sharing the link around on Twitter, and there was we had a session with NZCR yesterday to kick off their book group around future focused learning as part of Connect Educator Month, and they also make the point that we often think we're doing things that are really innovative, but actually we're just tinkering around the edges. And they gave a number of examples of why that might be the case, and it's something that we're going to continue to look at over the next 2 or 3 weeks with the support of that research team. And I think, Tim, your contribution today has added another dimension to that discussion as well. So I'm going to take what you've said today in your blog post and bring that into the discussion around really what fundamentally needs to be reimagined, and setting aside the technology to actually look at what it is we're trying to help our students achieve. So awesome. Ka pai, my friend. Very good.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks, Tim. Anyone else? Okay. No, I'll move on to you, Lewis. You're next.
Okay, let me just get set up here. Okay. Alrighty, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can. So just can you share it? Can you make it big now? That's it. Well done. Yep, everything's good. I'm dropping off, Lewis. Leave you to it.
Alright, ready to go. Okay, well, kia ora everybody. My name is Lewis Bostock, and I'm a media studies teacher at Diocesan School for Girls based here in Auckland, and I'm a passionate social media user. Today, I'm going to talk to you about safe and effective use of social media in the classroom, because I believe that social media is a vital communication and collaboration tool in future-focused education, provided, like any technology use in the classroom, it is safe and effective. So where did this idea come from? I got this idea when my students were studying the teen film genre. They needed to understand Generation X in order to understand why the teen film genre exploded in the 1980s, Sonia's favorite era. The tools that I used were Facebook and Twitter. I turned to the Gen Xers of Facebook and Twitter for help. I posted this question on Facebook and Twitter, and I just received an avalanche of comments and tweets. I then embedded all of the Facebook comments and Twitter tweets on my blog so my students could see them. So students don't have to friend me on Facebook or follow me on Twitter or even set up their own Facebook or Twitter. They simply read the responses, which I have collected via social media, but curated and presented on my blog. The biggest challenge was that I made the mistake of posting to Twitter and Facebook at the same time, so my phone lit up, resulting in social media overload. Next time I will start with Facebook first and then move to Twitter. The impact on my teaching has been huge. Here you can see I am adding my own commentary, which models how to make connections between Generation X and the teen film genre, using the comments or tweets as the impetus. And for students, in their assessments, they were explaining how the teen film genre appealed to and engaged Generation X as a target audience, which is really necessary to move to a higher grade in media studies. The project definitely enhances the learning process. Using SAMR, social media helped me modify and redefine the task because it broke down the walls of my classroom, allowing fresh voices and authentic experiences to enter. And if you could just take away one thing from this presentation, is that you can model the effective use of social media by drawing from the wisdom of crowds. You can emphasize that the value of social media is people, not the number of likes. So give it a go. I highly recommend using Storify to collect and curate content from social media, but it presents it in a way that is visually compelling and coherent to your students. Thank you for listening.
Thanks, Lewis. Yeah, thanks for sharing about the 80s. Everybody knows that I'm only 40.
I remember you telling me it was your favorite era of films too, Sonia.
Rabina, yes, no comment from you, thanks. Yeah, it is and still is my favorite. The big hair and the shoulder pads, love that period, and the glitter
awesome.
that went with it.
Awesome.
And I'm really excited that you've come to share with us too, Lewis, because it's the way that you use media and social media with your students. Fabulous. Has anyone got some words for Lewis?
Hi, Lewis. I enjoyed that. I was at the NZPF conference last week, and in a presentation that Carolyn Stewart did, friend Farrell, she asked a group of principals who was on Twitter, and there was maybe about 5 out of a group of about 50 or 60. And I think the constant challenge for us as leaders, as well as teachers, is to show, and going back to my presentation, to show that these aren't just shiny things that are the future. They're just how we do what we do. And you're one in terms of how you've linked to curriculum stuff, to the stuff that you're actually trying to work through with your students, meeting those learning needs. Twitter and social media is just the tools you use to do it. Just like getting newspaper cuttings, and was how we used to do it. 20 years ago or 15 years ago.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, thank you.
It's about keeping it natural, and that was it's cool. Thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone else? Karen, how did you go for time?
Oh, absolutely sweet. I was going to ask you just one quick question, actually, Lewis, and I enjoyed listening to your presentation as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
How? Just a couple of thoughts. How did you what was your key idea at the front of your mind around managing the safety for your students? A couple of bit of an insight there for folks listening at home.
Yeah, so it didn't require them to start their own Twitter or Facebook, or to even use their own, or to make a connection with me or to anybody else. It's just by embedding the content onto a blog, which I can distribute via Moodle. That's how I feel like we ensure safety, because they're really just reading the good responses. And of course, I've curated those, so I'm not embedding the tweets or embedding the comments that I do not wish them to see. I'm only embedding the really good stuff. So yeah, what's that?
Yes. So, but they were posting as well, were they?
Sorry, who?
They were posting as well, were they? The students?
The students, no, they weren't. No. So it's really me asking my own Facebook friends and Twitter followers who are some of the Gen Xers, and they were the ones who are posting. And then, of course, I look at their posts and select the ones that I wish them to see. So curate, and then only embed the really useful stuff. So
got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Cool. Well, as a Gen Xer, I'm sure that you got absolutely tons of really great material.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what was so valuable from the Gen Xers is they were so passionate and enthusiastic to talk about their experience as a Gen Xer. And I have to say, as a Gen Yer, I was a little bit naive to some of those experiences, so it was an eye-opener for me, as well as the students who are, of course, younger again. So thank you, Gen Xers.
Yeah.
And I'll just say, if I can say one thing, Sonya, I think, Lewis, what you said there in terms of you curating, I think sometimes in this push to the future and student-led learning, we miss the real role we have as teachers, to be that one person in that room that is the guidance and is the curator, really, because what a curator does is put good things in front of people.
Yeah, if I could explain it a different way, I think that we're kind of like the DJ, and the social web is our music, and we're really remixing the music to create an awesome mixtape for our students.
What a nice analogy.
Yeah, and I feel like that's that's kind of maybe how I like to think of my role as cooler than perhaps what I really am as kind of a DJ in the classroom.
Okay, thanks, Lewis.
No worries,
thank you for sharing. We've got Kassey, you're up next.
Cool.
And then Kassey, when you're finished, we've got a few questions and comments. Gerard, if you're listening, I've just tweeted out the link to Tim's presentation, so you can go in and see it. It looks like you've fallen off my list again, Gerard, because I couldn't find you quickly on Twitter. So I've just tweeted it out under the hashtag. All right, Kassey, over to you.
Cool. Can you see my screen?
Sorry, yes, we can.
Okay, awesome. All right, I'll get started. All right, hi, I am Kassey Downard. As I said earlier, I'm from Macquarie Intermediate in Rotorua, and I've got a Year 8 digital class. Today, I'm going to be talking about what is the big deal about Minecraft. It is incredibly simplistic, appropriate for all ages. There is no goal or end. Basically, the game is a giant sandbox that encourages construction, creativity, exploration, and survival. Minecraft, at its simplest form, is an online version of Lego, and it is a fantastic learning tool. So why do kids love it? And the bigger question now is, why should teachers love it? Minecraft covers the key competencies in the New Zealand curriculum. Students are having to think constantly about what they're building and what their next steps are. They're using rich language to discuss their projects. They're using words like mods, spawning, griefing, and crafting to communicate with their peers. They set their own time frames alongside setting their own agenda and goals, and they manage themselves to ensure they're meeting their time frames. Teamwork and collaboration happens within the game and outside the game to support the learning, and students participate and contribute to the Minecraft community when they build amazing creations and share them with their peers. The simplistic graphics allows anything to be possible. They can build on a small scale, such as building their dream classroom, or on a larger scale, like replicating an ancient Egyptian city. They dream it up and they build it. Students work together to create complex and elaborate structures. Often this will involve a planning process where a committee of students get together to develop a plan. While in the planning process, students engage in rich discussion to bring their vision to life. Minecraft experts step forward and they become the leaders in the classroom. The game has built-in social structures with LAN worlds and a chat function. The players have access to wikis, blogs, websites and message boards, and they share tips and upload elaborate videos detailing the amazing things that they've learnt to build. And they're constantly reflecting on their own creations. They're willing to take risks, make mistakes, fix them, and continue this forward-thinking process. It is important for students to be able to identify what they are learning when they use Minecraft. And to do this, I encourage my students to use their blogs to reflect on the projects and share their designs and receive feedback from a worldwide audience. These are just some of the values that Minecraft can teach students. Ultimately, Minecraft is fun. Students don't even realize all the values and skills they are learning. However, they are engaged and they're contributing positively to the learning and the classroom environment. The following are all successful ways I've been able to use Minecraft in the classroom. My most successful Minecraft project has been the recent fictional setting of Coconut Cove from the novel Hoot. Students created maps, models, and worked in teams to create a detailed replica of this city to scale, using the setting description from the text. I encourage you to allow your students to be the experts. Open the door and allow students to co-construct the path alongside you. Minecraft and gaming is taking over the classroom, so come and join the movement. Thank you.
Fabulous, Cassie. Only because I've been learning Minecraft with you and your children. I was privileged to go down to Rotorua and join Cassie's class a couple of weeks back and learned all about griefing, isn't it, and digital citizenship, when I was reminded by a student not to go around and destroy other people's work. So she had to come in behind me and repair the damage I had done. So I was having great fun knocking everything over. Anyone else have feedback for Cassie? Bridget, is that you coming through there?
Yeah, we've been using gaming, but like we haven't used Minecraft in the classroom. Had a conversation with Pam this week about Minecraft, and she was explaining to me why there's so much buzz about it, because I was pretty structural. But certainly our kids learn a lot through games. I can see that, and we've been bringing out the old favourites as well and learning through those, your snakes and ladders and the charades and things this past term as well. So, but they've certainly said, oh yes, Minecraft, that's one of our favourites. So I can starting to see why you use it. Thanks.
Awesome.
Anyone else?
I was just going to say, with my Year 7-8 students I worked with earlier in the year, they always came into me and talked about Minecraft and how much they enjoyed it, and that we should get it at school. And then at EduCamp earlier in the year, there was a session on Minecraft, and I had full intention of going to it. I thought, oh, that'll be interesting, I'll go and find out about it. But then, as you know, at EduCamp, what happens is everyone puts their stickies up on the wall based on what you've talked about, and I ended up doing my own talk about Soul at the EduCamp, so I couldn't go to the Minecraft one. And so it's quite good to sit here and hear about Minecraft, because it's been on my list of things to go and find out about. And so you've done me a favour in some regards, because I don't have to go and find out about it anymore. You've told me all about it, and I can really see why kids would enjoy it. So yeah, a neat presentation and very helpful in that regard. Thank you very much.
Thank you. A couple of those bit.ly links to my blog that's got every Minecraft project we've done, and I think one of them should be the video. If it's not, I'll tweet out the video to the Hoot server that shows what my class have been working on this term with their novel study. So I'll tweet that out now.
Excellent.
Thanks, Cassie. Could we have everyone turn on your camera and your microphones, please? We might have a crash, but it's okay. Yeah. And Richard, I'm going to just give you a couple of minutes. You've been doing some stuff in the background. Do you want to just clarify what you've been up to if you're back with us here?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so I've been tapping away for the whole hour. I've sort of summarised what everyone's been talking about. I've put some links in. I've got the link to the actual broadcast all on my post on iPadforschools.org. So if you check out my little badge down the bottom here, you'll see the address. So everything's in there, the Twitter links to all the presenters, and we hit 800 words, so we did pretty well. It's been really exciting, and it went really, really quickly. I couldn't believe how fast we were over. That's amazing.
Yes, indeed. Indeed, Richard. Yeah, if we've got some questions too, which I'll switch across, and then Karen, I'll give you a couple of minutes. But just before I switch to you, we've got some questions here in our Q&A and some comments. So I'll just read them out to you. Okay, here we go. From Kathy Scott. She says, I'm definitely 40. She's my best friend forever. Hey, Kathy. What are you laughing at? I had, from Justine Driver, Sam, this one's for you. I hadn't heard of Soul before, so definitely something for me to investigate further with your slide links. Thanks, Sam.
Excellent.
And Justine's also posted about the Mutakarua Rabina. I've heard several schools using the Mutakarua project for the early learners, and thanks for giving an overview.
Right.
For Bridget, she's got continue to be inspired by you, Bridget, with your use of solar taxonomy, and if you can do it with the 5-year-olds, it can be done with any age group, and she loves reading your blog. There's a Krishna Ramadugu, I hope I'm saying that correctly. She's asking, how could we teach usage of social media to primary children? She says, I use the class wiki space for sharing, but I'm wary of using social media for this age group. Krishna, and that's a very good place to be in. We not that we don't use it, but just go cautiously because we are working with young children. She's also saying to you, Rabina, thanks, and reach for the stars and you may get the moon, and she loved that. And Sam, she said, great, Sam. Very precise and has been inspired, and congratulations to our general hangout, and they want to know how many are watching. I'll tell you that afterwards. Justine Hughes says don't limit children because of how old they are. And were you just doing your hair, Sam? Juliet Rebel's asking.
I haven't got enough to do my hair.
There's a nice shout out for Camp Hawke's Bay, I'm guessing in HB Hawke's Bay, and great presentation everyone from Juliet. And Jared is asking about your link, Tim, and I tweeted it out to him. And it from the sidelines. So Karen, I'm passing it across to you now. That you were going to share with us some of Connected Educator Month. Thanks, Karen.
Thanks, Sonia. It won't take me 3 minutes. I'm just going to, there we go. Should be able to. What I'm just showing you there is the. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, we can.
We might need to put mics on mute again. I'm getting a cracking echo. Cheers, people. Yeah, so I'm just showing you the Connected Educator Month website. I suspect I may be preaching to the choir here. But unless, if you're on social media, unless you've been under a stone for the last 3 days, Connected Educator Month kicked off in a number of different countries around the world, and we've brought it to, CORE and myself in particular, have pushed hard to have the involvement of New Zealand educators officially part of Connected Educator Month. I know lots of folk have been part of it as part of the States the last couple of years, but it's been really exciting to take some wonderful ideas from what's been tried in the past and stand on the shoulders of giants and bring it here this month and adapt it for New Zealand educators. Essentially, it's really championing the value of being digitally connected as a support for the professional learning that we're doing. It's not saying that it's the only way to connect, but I think all of us here today are really proof positive that there are additional ways to have really stretchy, crunchy conversations once you are confident with different digital technologies. And so really that's the push here, and sitting right at the heart of Connected Educator Month is a huge calendar of different professional learning opportunities that have been pledged by organizations and individuals like you, Sonya, for example. I mean, this session here, we're actually in a pledge right now. Sonya pledged this Teach Meet session plus another one at the end of the month as an open invitation for educators to join in and to see the value of connecting in this way, as well as the kind of face-to-face professional learning that we do. So a couple of calls to action for anyone who's listening and watching this or watching the recording afterwards. Do stop by the website, just search for Connected Educator Month, look for the New Zealand site. We're on Twitter and Google+. Do browse through the calendar, pick a pathway of professional learning that really taps into your own school needs, your own inquiry. You can't do everything, there's hundreds of events and activities in there, but do browse through and join in with the activities that mean most to you. And I will just use my cursor to open up for you something called the Starter Kete. This part of the website is getting more traffic than pretty much anything else that we've put up here. The Starter Kete is 31 days of little activities and support to help people try out digital technologies for the first time. There are lots of teachers for whom this is still a really new world. And so if you know a colleague who's keen to try Twitter, have a go at blogging, just dip their toe in an online community for the first time, then the Starter Kete is the place to begin. And I'd really recommend that people get involved and have a wee look at that. So that's really all from me. There'll be tons of stuff coming out tagged to CENZ 14 and also the global tag CE 14 right through the rest of October and also into November as well. Got a couple of great book groups going, NZCR and Ewan Macintosh. We've got a number of blogging challenges and opportunities, plus webinars, workshops, a whole host of different things, and that's just in New Zealand as well. So thank you very much for the opportunity to just give a wee shout out for Connected Educator Month this October, and kapai to you, Sonya, for pulling together this session. It's a bit of a Connected Educator special. How sad is that? I've actually got a poster behind me. I've got a colour one somewhere at the office. I thought I'd bring a black and white one home just to, looks like I'm reading the news, eh? But do get involved. All of you are already champions for working in this way and blending your learning. So be Connected Educator champions and spread the word. Kia ora.
Thank you. Thanks, Karen. And thanks, everyone. Is there, just before we finish up, I've just put in a link on the chat asking that if you took part today to do fill it in. And I will broadcast tonight, or as soon as we're finished, this video again. And I'll cut the video up today and tomorrow. You will also have the opportunity of adding the TeachMeetNZ badge to your digital portfolio, your blog or your site. And thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. So I'll pass the mic back to you on the floor if somebody wants to say anything.
Thanks, everyone. I'll just start by saying it went, as I said before, it went really quickly. Time flies when you're having lots of fun. So it was great stuff, really exciting stuff. Never heard of Soul before. Got a bit confusing with Soul and Solo on my autocorrect. But no, it was great fun. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Richard.
Yeah, it's been a really wonderful thing to be part of. Thanks, Sonya, very much for getting us all involved and helping us just see again how much knowledge is really in our own room and in our own country, and that we can be sharing this with what we have got, with the rest of the world as well, and learning from them. We're all learners, we're all teachers, and I think it's really been such a valuable learning experience that I've really learnt from today. So thank you.
Thanks, Bridget. And yeah, just great, some great stuff happening out there. Really proud that you all joined in today. Okay. Oh, Lois, you're talking, but you're not. We can't hear you. You've got your mic off.
Sorry. Thank you so much for having us. As a new teacher, it was really valuable for me to hear everybody else's experiences and wisdom, but also I'm really grateful to just have the opportunity to share some of my own. So yeah, thanks again.
Thanks, Lois. Okay. I look forward to catching up with you all on Twitter. Tweet, tweet, tweet. And as I brought, you'll get a each day I'll put one person in order of appearance. Your video and your page will go live. So I've got all my photos now, so I'm going to start putting those live. So when you're ready, you can drop away, and I'll be the last to leave the hangout. And look at that, exactly just on an hour. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Thanks, Sonya.
Lovely.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Sonya.
Bye.
Bye.
See you, Dan. You learn if you're going down. Bye, Lois. Bye, everyone. Yep. Fabulous. All right. Thanks. Great to have you all here. Bye, everyone. I'm off too. Broadcast is stopping.